and welcome to episode 362 of the Awesome Comics Podcast, the place where the small press makes one hell of a big noise. I'm Vince Hunt, and joining me as always is the creator of the webcomic Vanguard, Dan Butcher.
Hello.
And amongst everything else he does, he teaches a weekly yoga class at a retirement village. It's Tony Esmond.
When I get really relaxed, you know what happens?
Just no, I can't say. I can't say anything because the show has only just started, and we don't want to set a record for lowering to those depths.
Debasing ourselves.
Although I'm sure we've debased ourselves within 30 seconds.
Yeah,
we must have done it by now. But
I
welcome.
did about a minute ago before we started.
Welcome.
Basing ourselves like Amber Heard did on Johnny Depp's bed.
Hey! Look! Don't date this show.
Only one of them gives a shit in that relationship. Yeah.
Oh dear! Don't know why that made me laugh so much. Welcome to the show, everyone. We hope you're all doing well. You've got us for the next hour and a half to 2 hours. So I think that says more about you than it does us. But seriously though, we're here to entertain and talk about comics as always, and we've got a little bit of comic event talk this week as well, haven't we?
Nice little opportunity for people as well.
Yes, still time to get your table in the event we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, should we leave it as a bit of a mystery?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, why not? Although if you read this synopsis of this episode, you'll
probably say it in the summary, won't we?
Yeah.
It's already been on the Slack.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a pyro.
Pyro. We're going to have pyro in this show. That'd be amazing.
Columbo episode where you find out the murder is straight away. And then,
I like Columbo for that. Yeah.
Well, you don't like a bit of mystery?
No, but the Columbo thing is that you found.
Yeah, Columbo is you see them do it, don't you? And then it's all about Columbo walking in and
how he catches them out.
Yeah, and
it's always Patrick. It's always Patrick McGowan, isn't it?
I think there's some comedy routine where like the comedians like watching it with their nan, and they're like about halfway through it, the nan says, "I think they did it." It's like, you fucking showed you did it at the start.
Oh dear, but yeah, from Columbo to comics. I tell you what, the Columbo was a classic.
Yeah.
Do you know what else
it's
is
still
classic?
watchable now, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what
Comic House?
Yeah, Comic House. That's also still watchable, readable, and enjoable. And they are our lovely sponsors. Do you like that one, T?
That tickled me, that one.
Yeah. They are lovely sponsors.
Pocket.
Dan, what was that?
We've had two Otter references in two shows.
Oh, we haven't we? Yeah.
Do we
love the Otter reference?
Do we need Otter Watch? Is that what we?
Yeah.
Otter's
pocket, Ottaway's pocket. There's two things there, aren't there?
Yeah.
Sound very similar. One's full of blood.
Oh, God!
And a knife.
What comics can we read on there?
Yes, on Comic House, our lovely sponsor. You can find comics that have blood and knives, and also a lot of fun. And if you go to comichouse.com, you'll see a huge selection of titles on their database. If you're self-published, you can list your book on there as well. It's another avenue to get your work out to the world. And if you have digital copies of your books, which everyone should have, especially over the last couple of years, I think if it's taught us anything, it's you should have digital books out there, especially seeing as what used to be a major digital comic service is completely shit now. Yeah. So, but we're not going to get into that because Comic House, now is the time to go to Comic House to read some great comics and to add your comics there. It's being added to all the time. What's on there at the moment, Dan?
There's a ton of comics. We've got Project New Wave Volume 1 Issue 3 Commencement. We've got Zero Medal Issue 3 Maximum Endurance, Murmur Issues 1, 2 and 3. We've got Remnants Volume 1 Issue 1, The Hordes of Surrey Issue 2, and the SCI Superhuman Crime Investigators Volume 2 Issue 1, and a whole lot more, Vince.
Oh,
thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
But he's such a pro, and you tell me he's just
in a way. I see what you're saying.
You don't fuck about in front of the money. You know what I
mean? Oh, thank you to Comic House for sponsoring this show. If you go to comichouse.com, there's a 14-day free trial to just for the app and just Comic House service in general, and just discover it, because it's well worth it, folks. And I've noticed a few of our books have snuck into the top comics section.
I saw that. Yeah, I booted it up the other day and was like, oh look, we're in the top.
Yeah,
as we should be.
See, our anthology's up there somewhere as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The other day?
Yeah. So we don't just talk about comics. Sometimes we make them. Sometimes we make a lot of them. All the time. So yeah, definitely go to Comic House and check it out. But yeah, this week, shall we just get straight on with the?
Yeah.
Yes. Why not? We're not in the sort of nature of.
They give a fuck about
messing. Yeah, Dan, you're
we
very
do. To be fair,
week.
we do fuck about quite a lot. I'll be honest with you. I don't want the listener to think we don't.
No,
we should do the fucking Netflix thing and
calm down.
Record. Sorry, half the episode now, and then the next half in August.
Yeah, we should do that.
We'll just move it to Amazon.
Yeah. Oh God. No, we're not going to do any of that because this show's free anyway. But yes, just be prepared to write down a new event to add to your list right now.
Yeah.
We're going to keep the mystery. This ain't Columbo. This is Murder, She Wrote, baby. So
this
find
is
out.
Rizzoli and Isles.
Yeah, whatever that means. But yeah, check this out. Okay, this week we're joined by someone who's, in this day and age, mad enough to try and put on a comic convention.
And come on this podcast.
And to come on. Yeah, well, they're just very brave. Namely, Bridlington Comic Con, which is definitely one you're going to have to put on your lists. Not to mention the fact that he also sent us a picture of Sid James's chopper. Yeah. But we'll get into that in a bit.
just to cheer you up, here's a picture of Sid James's
chopper. So, of course, we had to talk to Andrew Hampsel. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Andrew.
Good to have you on, mate.
I love it when people go, it's nice to be here, like it's a thing. Like
it's a joy. It's a joy. I listen to you every Tuesday morning on my way to work.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Thank you.
Good to know. Yeah.
Is it a long journey? Because this show can go on and on and on.
Do you know some people listen on a speeded up thing, don't they? They play it at like 1.5 times, things like that, don't they? Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what it sounds like.
You get me there and back, and
all right.
It is. We started.
A little bit of lingering in the garage.
Good.
No, it's good to have you on, Andy. And of course, like this show has just sort of popped onto our radar, and certainly it's got some names that we're aware of. And I know you also take part in our Slack group and stuff as well. So clearly, that's a sign of someone who knows comics and likes comics and wants to talk about comics. So
I mean, I've submitted drawings of Doc Cotton and Lovejoy, so obviously I'm of a certain mind.
Excellent.
I'd watch that porno.
Really?
I keep wanting us to do another group challenge of like drawing all the characters from a TV show.
Oh yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
We did last of the summer one, didn't we? I think there's
of course we did. Yeah.
I think we could really
I loved that. Yeah,
take a good run at doing Only Fools and Horses.
Yes, that's a name. That's got to be that one, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's got to be Only Fools.
Well, why don't you just pick a show that's got like a huge cast, and then everyone gets a random character? Just put.
There's quite a lot of characters in Only Fools.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, but like not as much.
He doesn't understand. He's from the country.
Well, funnily enough, they do have Only Fools and Horses conventions have become quite popular recently, and the guest lists are immensely long, and that's without having David Jason and Nicholas Lyndhurst attend.
I stand corrected. I stand corrected. All right. Okay.
And you're the man that knows.
Me up. Yeah.
Tell me you've booked Marlene at some point, Andy.
No, but we've had Boise.
Yeah. He'd turn up to a fridge opening, he would, wouldn't he?
Well, he's dead now, but he
probably
still.
I feel bad
he probably still would turn up.
He was a baddie in Doctor Who as well, wasn't he?
He was.
Well, we've all been a baddie in Doctor Who. Tony, come on.
Yeah,
that's true.
He worked with Tom Baker.
Yeah,
he was a nice enough chap. Yeah.
Seeds of Doom. There you go. A little bit of trivia for you.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Oh. True You're great having a pub quiz, Tony. I bet.
Just shit. I only know shit. Nothing that's important.
But Andy, how did you get into the game of like setting up events, especially comic?
Into the millionaires game of event organising.
Well, it was a funny little journey, really, because I actually used to do amateur dramatics, which then moved into working with the local production group doing plays and videos and films, and then me and a friend started a comedy double act. It's a bizarre story, this, isn't it? Where we would do prop-based comedy and cartoon and video-based comedy and write funny stuff, and then we stopped doing that because life changed directions and I still felt creative, so I started doing podcasts, and I worked on a Doctor Who one and I worked on a Star Wars one, and one of my jobs was to get people to interview, because the guy running one of the podcasts was in Australia, and he said, as you're in the UK, you might have better luck getting people. So I thought, well, I've never done that before, but I'll have a go. So I started having a little dig around for people I could talk to, and the first person I think I talked to was a guy called Russ Leach, who was doing the artwork in Doctor Who Adventures comic, and basically I did a few of those interviews. Then I saw, I think it was 2015, there was an advert for Hull Comic Con's coming, so I messaged the guy running it, and I thought I was being really slick by saying, "Oh yeah, can I have a press pass, please?" And he said, "Well, you can just come and do the interviews if you want on the stage." And I thought, "Wow, that's great," because they'd already started booking ones then. I wasn't involved in the organising at that point. And this one of the people down was Colin Baker, and well, lifelong Doctor Who fan. I thought, I get to talk to Doctor Who. That's amazing. So I went along, did it, enjoyed it, and then started talking about the other people who I'd spoke to, like Russ and a few other artists, Rachel Smith.
Yeah.
She was doing the little backup strip in the Doctor Who comics. And Lee Sullivan, who used to do Doctor Who magazine ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just went from there, started booking them, started having more input into it. And, you know, I started involving, you know, my day job into it, which is teaching art and design. So I've got workshops going, things like that. And that's it. It's just gone from strength to strength. So from 2015, we started doing Bridge as well. We've done a couple of cruises, which we're excited. Oh dear me.
Where'd you go to on that? Zeebrugge or something like that? Where do you go?
We went to Rotterdam and Amsterdam. So the idea was
could be anywhere.
We another Hull link there as well. You see, beautiful south.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, we had the P&O ferries leaving Hull, so we sort of teamed up with P&O and we did two cruises, and we basically went to these quite big Comic Cons over in Rotterdam and Amsterdam. Did I say Rotterdam?
Rotterdam, I think it's.
Okay. And they were sort of the really big ones. I mean, we don't claim to be anything as massive as this. These are the kind of ones where they've got like, I don't know, Flash Gordon and Derek Benedict and, you know, quite a few American stars and things like that. But they said, well, if basically we could do a package deal, you bring along a load of your people and we'll put them on at our event and we'll get you all in at the ticket price. So basically we had a Comic-Con on the ferry on the way there. Went to a Comic-Con while we were there, and then had another Comic-Con on the ferry on the way back, which was great fun.
Was it just people getting legless? It was a lot of
the thing was it was still a normal working cruise as well. So as well as you had like stag nights on there, you had family holidays, and because we were taking up the sort of main entertainment ballroom area, everyone was welcome to come into it. So some people couldn't make head nor tail of what was going on, and then of course the ship band would come on playing all the classic cover versions, and we'd have all the cosplayers down there dancing and all sorts of weird stuff going on. It was great, but we took some great people people. This is where I'm going to go blank out at her name. I have to remember her name in a second. But one of the people we took on the cruise was Hannah from S Club 7, because she did Primeval.
Yeah,
of
she's
course.
a lot of MCM. Hannah's Spirit, isn't it?
Hannah's Spirit.
Yeah, she's absolutely lovely. She bought me a glass of wine and she told me some interesting off the record stories, which is always good fun.
Wasn't she married or lived with the dude who was the main guy in Primeval or something? He's at all these things, isn't he?
And it's Andrew somebody, but he's been to one of our events as well, and he came to an event we did that Hannah was also at. Right. He had sort of like a rider where he said that he doesn't want to be anywhere near her. He won't do joint talks with her or anything. And it was really hard work. I mean, if he's listening to this, you haven't been invited back, and it's probably because you were a bit rude. But
well, I opened my.
we have a list of people who aren't coming back.
Yeah, I can imagine. I opened my fridge earlier, Andy, and he turned up. So
probably, doesn't surprise me. In fact, I was watching the Sex Pistols program the other day. That pistol that's been on, and I was the bit where they do the Bill Grundy interview. And Johnny Rotten's there, and he's sort of just in his sort of like throwaway manner, he's just going, "Yes, next question, please." It was very much like that.
Oh,
lovely. All the comics people will be well behaved, though, apart from being drunk, I'm sure. But,
tell me about it. Yeah, they like a drink.
What's that phrase from 24-Hour Party People? They drink more than the Queen Mother. I love that phrase. Yeah.
The person I was thinking of who we took on the cruise as well was Virginia Hay. Now she's Australian, but she was sort of a proper Hollywood type. She was in Mad Max 2 playing the warrior woman.
I know. She was in
as well.
Farscape.
Yeah, she went to Farscape. Oh, she's absolutely lovely lady, but she was she demanded she was demanding a cabin with opening portholes. Well, none of them open. It's it's the North Sea.
Yeah,
and she said, "Well, I will sleep on deck then."
Good luck with that.
Yeah, probably would.
Well, probably, but it was sort of like the middle of winter, and like I say,
I was watching the Living Daylights, and she pops up in that.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
When were you watching that?
Well, you know that when Amazon said like all the Bond films are now on Amazon, I just flicked them. I thought, I'll give this to watch while I'm doing some other stuff, and she appears in The Wreck, so watch that if you want to see.
Well, they're already leaving Amazon, aren't they? Even though they own the
really
rights now. But apparently they were only on for a short time, and I think they go off in a couple of weeks.
Oh, what a Swiss!
Yeah,
it's ruined Dan's day. That has.
The world.
I'm sorry. Glad I could be of help.
That's a slap in the face. Well, I got through all the good ones. So,
so you spread out from Hull to Bridlington. I have been to Bridlington. It's all right, isn't it?
It's all right. It's a nice little seaside town. It's fun, you know. And they've really sort of taken us on board there. We're part of their tourism, and we sort of they really promote us well there. And there's like one of those little land trains that goes around taking people from the car park to the town centre. You know the ones I mean, that they're sort of like milk floats, but look like a steam train and tow carriages along.
Okay, all right.
That sounds amazing.
They're really. It's got to be seen to be believed. But we had great pictures last year with a guy dressed as Spider-Man jumped on top of it and was riding around the town. Which they might think, well, that's health and safety, isn't it? You mustn't be doing that. But no, they've asked us for photographs and they've asked us to join in more next year. So yeah, we're part of the town. It's great.
Is there a local comic shop in Bridlington? I can't think of one.
There isn't. No.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
No.
Where's your nearest one then, Andy? Is it?
We've got one. We have got one in Hull.
Okay.
Yeah, down Anlaby Road. That means nothing to you, does it?
I know what you mean.
The comic shop. Yeah, it's just opposite the station.
Right. Okay.
It's a nice little comic shop that they started having problems with shoplifters, and it had to go like a high-end jewellery shop where you have to knock at the door to get in, so that they keep an eye on you. Probably that's sad, but it was sort of piled high with. It was like a cave network of comics, you know.
Yeah, I like that.
So, yeah, with like a central column of comics and you had to walk around, so it was quite easy to go out of sight in it. I can imagine that being a problem.
Yeah. Okay. And do you involve them in the convention, or?
Well, they tend to be open on the days we're doing it, but they do, they do promote us and make sure that the people know about us and vice versa.
Yeah, I get you.
Now, they tend to be busy. So sorry.
So that's right, man. So full disclosure, when you messaged us, you said you're a convention and you own the sort of Funko side of things. But I think it's fair to say one of the reasons we got you on is because you said you're also looking for small presses to attend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's that going?
I listen to you with great interest when you talk about conventions and so forth. I must say I'm very pleased that you all joined in and come in cosplay tonight, which is good.
Fat Russell Crowe.
I'm the Invisible Man, the Kevin Bacon one, where he's absolutely naked.
So he has sex with someone when he's invisible.
No, it's not consensual, Tony. So let's not go there.
Yeah. Right.
I always say that I'm Jason Momoa if you bought him on Wish.
Mamau.
I'd say it's an interesting time for comic conventions because we kind of seem to be getting over that uncertainty that COVID kind of gave us, and well, obviously we've had a few cons now, and the reports seem to be
mixed, actually.
Very mixed.
Yeah. Is this your first one from coming back from COVID?
No, we've done two. We did Bridlington Hull last year, and we were really nervous. We didn't know which way it would go.
No,
right.
So until it actually happened, we weren't sure, but it couldn't have been better. We got, I think Brid we got 2,500, and Hull it was between 3,000 and 4,000. That was just immense.
All right,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we couldn't have wished for better, really. And the atmosphere was amazing. It was brilliant. I know that it was overused, that everyone said, "Oh well, we're ready for it, aren't we?" I think people probably were, But so that's what I mean by going back to when I listen to when you talk about conventions and the comic side of it. And we often get told, well, you shouldn't call yourself a comic convention because you've got Jet from Gladiators there and she's not a comic, is she?
So, hold on. Those people can fuck off. One. Those people can fuck off. There's nothing wrong with that.
He just used that as catnip to draw you in.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know.
Sorry, I do. I will drop names, by the way.
No, I think, Andy, we're all realists now. I've given up on that. And I think we're all realists. What I want is a comics convention to have comics at it. Okay, I'll have other things. I'm fine with that, like Portsmouth.
Well, this is it. So, well, this is it. So basically, what you see is everybody goes and wants something different out of it,
right?
And it's not for want of trying to get people who sell comics and do comics in, but we have gradually been building that to a point where we really want to welcome. All the guys you talk about, the small press people. Yeah. We sort of did it. We tested the water last year at Brid, and we mentioned it on the podcast, and we had it on various sites. And
it was on the Slack, wasn't it?
Promoted. That's right. Funnily enough, we did get a few people come from it, but the majority of them were actually authors, and it was more books than comics, which was interesting.
Yeah,
but it was on those same sites. This year, we want to push it further because at Brid, it's a beautiful old-fashioned venue inside the Bridlington Spa. And we've got a beautiful big hall with a massive stage. It's the same place where bands perform and, dodgy blue comedians or whatever. But it's got this amazing balcony upstairs where, there's seating for concerts if you want it there, or sometimes they'll put tables out and they'll do dining with various shows. We've got use of that, and we really don't use it as well as we could. So, we thought we'll put tables up there, can't we? We can have a whole zone if we want, and double what we do. And as a gesture, we know I know I've done so many weird little projects. I know how much they cost and how much passion and effort everyone puts into them. So we're not going to charge you for the tables if you want to come to Brid.
Okay, that's very kind of you, man.
Yeah.
It's
more
it
shows
that.
a commitment as well, doesn't it? I think
definitely.
Well, we are, because we love meeting artists, and people like Rachel Smith have come back time and time again, and
cool. We know
people,
Rachel. Yeah.
people come to us and ask if they can come back, and we have a lot of people do workshops for us, which have gone down as one of the most popular things. So we don't sort of have different things going on at the same time if we can help it in different rooms. So if we've got, for instance, a panel on the stage where we've got some guests talking, we'll do that for 20 minutes. Then we'll finish that, and the next thing on will, fingers crossed, be a workshop. So Russ Leach sort of started this because after Doctor Who Adventures, he started working for Draw the Marvel Way.
Okay.
Which was sort of one of them. Well, it's still going. It's one of them part works that goes on forever and ever and ever. And he spoke to the publishers of that, which I think they're called Hatchet part works. They're sort of working hand in hand with Marvel. They sort of did a deal where he was allowed to Draw the Marvel Way live. So he'd get up on stage with big old flip pad and shows how to draw various Marvel characters, and we got a few freebie issues of the magazine as well from the publisher, which was great. And it went down well, so we've sort of gone on from that. We've got a local artist called Abby Stabby. She doesn't do comics, but she does commissions of chibi type artwork and stuff. That goes down well. So we're working at different levels, of kind of art we do.
I think you were saying because we put a shout out after you messaged me, we put it in the Facebook group and the Slack and stuff like that. And you've had a couple of small press people that we know reach out and ask for a table.
Oh, yeah.
So, so it's definitely gaining some momentum in that sort of area.
Absolutely.
It's a one-day con, isn't it, Andy? Yeah.
But it's a one-day con, but that's the thing as well. As soon as anybody is coming to us, we'll promote the hell out of you and make sure there's links to your work and links to what you do and cause an excitement. If anybody wants to suggest a workshop or thinks they can do something, then that's great, because those all just make people happy, especially if they learn to draw something. It's great. We had Nigel Parkinson showed everyone how to do Dennis the Menace last year.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, he's a nice dude. Yeah.
And we have a regular guy called Lee Bradley, and like Russ, he's done Draw the Transformers Way.
Yeah, he's done some Iron Man work and stuff like that, hasn't he?
He's really good. He's one of he comes every year. He's already down and he shows you how to draw Transformers, and it's brilliant.
Cool.
He has little worksheets and everything you can take away with you. So it's a big part of it, and they're on the same stage as the guests. There's no star billing at our events.
Okay.
It's for everyone. Everyone's entitled to the time and to bring something to it, and it works really well.
Yeah. So you haven't been contacted by any of our friends with like huge riders? So
not yet, but
Yeah. Ashcroft wants. He wants a couple of hookers. That sort of thing.
You can't say that.
M&M's with all the brown ones taken out.
That may be more likely for Ian, but like the first one.
Let's not get that. Ian doesn't sleep with hookers.
Well, Bridlington plays, so
Yeah, oh God. I don't really remember it like that. I don't remember it as the Las Vegas of the North, but yeah, you could be like that. Yeah. Well, I'm going to come along, Andy. I know we talked about it before, but I think I'm going to bite your hand off around that, man. So I think we'll
brilliant.
That's a good shout.
See you there.
We'd love to.
You're going to go with tribute, T?
That's the plan.
Hunter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got some stuff that, we've got hazmat warning suits for any of the kids who come near the table and stuff like that, and we have got some kids products. So yeah, so it won't be too bad. But I think that's also great. By that time DUI should be out as well, so it might be a good place to do that one. So yeah, that should be exciting.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, good.
I've been to Bridlington for about 10 years, so it should be a laugh.
Yeah, I'm sure it's changed.
I get the little train.
Oh yeah. Well, and watch stormtroopers go paddling. It's always a laugh. It's always
good stuff. So what? Go on, mate. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So in your opinion, then, Andy, like, what is the best sort of recipe for a good sort of indie comic convention? Because a lot of the time, we, especially on this show, the big names obviously come up, but there's guys like you are putting in hard work and just trying to not only appealing to people that like comics and things like that, but trying to draw in the general public as well, because the other people, the people like Doctor Who and all of that might also get comics. So what do you think is, because obviously you have to juggle a lot of different balls and think of many different things at once.
One of the things we definitely like to do is it's not come in, go around, go out. If people are coming to us, we want them to stay all day. Right. So we make sure there's plenty for them to do all day. There are other cons that will sort of like whiz you through.
Yeah.
That's a must. We don't do anything like early bird tickets or special packages or anything like that. It's the same price for everybody, and everyone gets the same treatment. If people are entitled to as much as anybody else. We try to make sure that all the activities and everything inside is free once you've come in and you're paid, so you don't have to part with any extra money. And hopefully we just create lots of little pockets and areas and things to do that you might not normally do or might not normally see. And again, throughout the day, everything is it's like I'm on the stage most of the time, just constantly rattling off everything there is to do, and make sure you go and see this person or that person, or go.
So you're literally manning the mic. You're the person
I'm
an
MC.
Like a wedding.
Okay.
Hammer.
I didn't know I was an MC. I didn't know I had a title until Colin Baker said, "Are you the MC, Andy?" And I thought, "Oh, I must be." So I've kept that. So yeah. I think although I've spoke to all these people who've been in Star Wars and Doctor Who and met great artists and all these people, the most exciting thing I actually had to do on the microphone once was ask someone. I said, "Can the owner of the white Vauxhall Nova registration number so please move it from the door because they're blocking the entrance?" I thought, I've made it, now I can make an announcement like that. It's proper Phoenix Night stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Have an inflatable penis.
Yeah.
That's the other one you got to do.
Yeah. That was that. Now, funny enough, you joke about that, but that was for sale on eBay last year. The actual Sammy the Snake.
Really? Brilliant.
It went for quite a lot, but we did partially consider it.
It's a classic series. You never see that anymore, do you? It doesn't get repeated much.
I think Peter Kay has a lot of control over his own material, I think.
Right. We often do. We often quote, I'm thinking of a word. We quote that quite a lot at convention tables.
It's always just a picture of him, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I'm not naming names or dissing anyone, but there is another Comic Con that organizer we refer to as Den Perry. So
nice. Yeah.
I'm going to look that up while we're talking now. Yeah.
What's the name of that psychic? Clinton Baptiste.
That's
it.
So, in terms of like convention organising,
right? I know who you mean immediately. I know who that is. You're talking about Andy. I've just seen that. He's the one who looks like Mr. Tumble as well, isn't he? That same bloke.
Mr. Tumble. God, Jesus Christ.
References in this one, isn't there?
He's got a ranch somewhere, isn't he? I think something to do with special effects. That's what I'll say.
There's a lot of googling happening right now. But in terms of like convention organising and stuff, I mean, how many years have you been doing this now?
Since 2015.
So, as well as like your events, have you like had any contact with other sort of organisers and stuff? Have you shared any ideas or been given any tips?
Yeah, I mean, there's we've got a little group where some of us like protect each other and look after each other and share info. Ones that are local and roundabout, like Scarborough, and the ones in the area. We certainly chat and exchange
share
ideas.
the war stories afterwards.
But also we get some of the people who come to the convention will say, "Oh, I've been working with this guy at another convention. They're keen to come to yours." So there's that goes on as well, like a bit of word of mouth between.
Yeah, is that one of the most important things now for a convention? Word of mouth, like to bring in new guests and exhibitors.
Yeah, well, guests are very hard because it's the same guests tend to do the conventions.
Yeah, that's one of the things you've got to be careful about, isn't it? Is there's sort of such and such things.
Yeah, and at the level we do it, there's not you know, we don't have a huge budget to work with.
Yeah.
So what you get is what you get. And we have people who will message us on Facebook now and again saying, I wouldn't mind paying more to get in if you could get so and so.
Right.
We've even had some people who said, someone said, can you get Tim Curry? And I said, probably not, no, because he lives in America. And and they said, well, I've already messaged his agent and these are the prices and terms. And if you're interested.
What do you do? Just block them at that point?
Oh, yes.
Wow, what a fucking thing to ask.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they said, well, if you can't afford them, why don't we start a charity page and raise the funds for it? And that was, no, because we have a lot of charities come and do stuff with us. So we said, we put a big kibosh on that. But yeah, some people...
How far are you from Wakefield there, Andy?
Wakefield, about an hour away.
Okay, it's not too bad for get Jay McDonald down, maybe.
God.
Yeah.
You know what he's doing. You know what he's doing, Andy. Come on, you know he's grifting you for that meat.
Well, yeah, it's one of the perks, you know. One of the problems is that people do enjoy coming to our events, and some of them are really nice to us, some of the guests and things, and love it. And we do ask them back time and time again, certain ones. And there's always some people moan saying, "Oh, not them again," but they still have a massive crowd pull. And it's people you might not have, I mean, you've probably not heard of a guy called John Camplin. Now, he's from Hull, and he's the Death Eater in a Harry Potter film that stops the Hogwarts Express with the Force or with his hand. And he's instantly recognisable. And he's also King Regis in the Final Fantasy games.
Oh, God. People that know that really know that.
Yeah.
He's his body. His voice is Sean Bean, apparently.
Oh, okay.
If you want a more random thing, if you've seen the advert on telly now for Sky Glass, the posh telly, he's the grey-haired guy who the little kid calls a wizard in it.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know that.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's weird.
Anyway,
I love that's the reference they get.
That advert deeply irritates me.
You know what?
He's like a hipster wizard, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes every year, and a lot of people will say, "Oh, we don't want him again," but he's so popular, and the cues he gets, people love him.
Right.
Partly because he's local, but also, I mean, he does a wand workshop as well. That's quite good. But he's just a character. He's a great character.
I mean, I'm not backwards in coming forwards about saying about people who are back again, but it tends to be, for me, is where it's the same guest every year at a certain convention, but they don't put themselves out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're barely at the table. They don't really come, you know, they're just there as a sort of trip from the States to have a drink with their friends who run the convention. You know, that's what irks me in the most places.
No, we can't afford to get anyone from the States.
Yeah.
They are all UK-based people.
Yeah.
Our judgment really is if it's someone we've had before and they have something interesting to say, and there's still more interesting things for them to say, then we'd love them to come again. Yeah. People who come and are rude, obnoxious, selfish, of which there have been a few, they don't get invited back.
Yeah.
I was going to come. Sorry about that, Andy.
I don't know where some of these people get that kind of attitude from, because like we're making comics, it's not exactly kind of, to us it's the fucking world, but
every sale is a gold, isn't it?
Yeah, in the larger stake of things, it's like, well, whatever.
Yeah. Likewise, there are some artists we've not had back as well, because they've just they're almost too shy, I think, and they're there behind a table, and people want to talk to them about their comics and their work, but they're sort of just not. You know, they don't want to come forward. Whereas the people who we do have are just, you know, they're all over it. I mean, Lee Bradley comes every time now. He's amazing.
You do see that with some artists, don't you? And I think probably that's maybe the necessities of their profession is they don't actually ever speak to anyone, do they? Because they just have their head down and work.
That's that's great for kind of getting the work done, but when you have to you're being there to kind of interact with people, and
then it's not. Yeah, you got to put yourself out, and you got to chat to people, and you got to do it, haven't you?
Well, I
think you'll endear yourself to people to buy your comics in the future as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nigel Parkinson last year was quite interesting to watch because he's quite a showbiz artist, because he's sort of almost the representation of the Beano on chat shows and on TV and in the media. especially when they were doing the stamps and special things last year. He
Right.
was always about, and he was always very polite and nice in his emails and stuff. But at the day, he had massive queues.
Yeah, I did a panel with
and
him at Nottingham, and he was hilarious. Really good.
Oh yeah,
company.
he is. He sort of just switches on, and he's like, he goes, and he did his workshop was great, but it was so well crafted, and what he said, and he knew he had the audience in his hand. It was amazing.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
people just know how to like work with people, don't they? Really, they're just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and also to feel a silence. Sometimes you get like as a guest. I find this on panels sometimes. You must have noticed this, Tony. Moderating some panels, that you got to be on it, otherwise it goes dead, doesn't it?
Yeah, you've got to have the next question ready, because some of these people, you'll say to them, "What's that famous De Niro thing? Have you ever heard of this? De Niro's on a panel, and I think didn't he help finance We Will Rock You or something?" And so one of the compares said, "What's your favourite Queen song? Do you have a favourite Queen song?" And he just went, "Nope."
Yeah, that's
And he just went quiet. Yeah.
That's amazing, though.
feedback in the mic.
You just got to be ready. You just got to be ready for it, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, like I say, when we if people have got things to say, we get them back, and a lot of the people we get are sort of they had maybe the tiniest part in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But the stories they've got about well, it's somebody who was in the first Star Wars film. I mean, they're going to have stories, aren't they? And if they've not been to conventions before, you can't shut up. It's great. They just chat and chat and chat. And if they'll tell you a different gem every time, and it's great. That's why we ask them back, because they've just got so much to say.
There's a great artist who, I'll tell you who it is afterwards, but he told me a very hilarious story about seeing Kenny Baker's Cock and Balls once, and that was still the most engaging thing I've ever heard.
Wow. I should mention another one of our artists who does workshops for us, because he's another local lad. He came from Hull, but he's called Jake, and that's the name he goes by. Big J, big A, big K, little E. Now he, so what's he done that you'll have spotted? He worked on a lot of the artwork for the Mighty Boosh, because he was mates with Noel Field.
Oh, nice.
Did he do Hellraisers?
Do you know what? You see, this is
Oliver Reed and stuff, Tony. Do you remember that?
Well, this is it. I mean,
yes.
I'm making assumptions, because you often ask for any shout-outs or recommends, but I recommend Hellraisers.
Yeah,
it's a sensational book.
Jake
drew Oliver Reed in it for me when we were on the cruise on the ferry.
Cool.
On the movie Ferry, whilst he was under the influence of Oliver Reed.
It's the spirit.
He's from Hull, and he's also, the other books he's published are 3 Star Wars tie-ins, and they're official ones, and the third one came out after the move to Disney. So he's really chuffed with that, and they're called How to Speak Droid, How to Speak Wookiee, and How to Speak Astromech, and they're sort of those books with the little buttons you press.
Oh, I know.
The noises,
yeah.
the drawings in them are beautiful.
I've bought presents of those for people before. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess every time I see a copy in the charity shop or car boot sale, I buy it for him to sign and stick in the charity raffle at the events. But he does that. He does a Draw the Star Wars Way workshop for us on the stage, and he's a bit like our Ken Dodd. You have to try and hurry him up to stop, and he just keeps banging out these Wookiees and droids and all sorts, and he's got a good banter, and he's really down with the kids as well, and he really inspires them.
Did you say he's like your Ken Dodd?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he won't get off the stage. And I'll be sort of. Last time I was hovering around behind him, and he said, "Oh, is it time to get off?" I went, "Yeah, a couple of minutes." He goes, "Well, what's next?" And I said, "To talk about Lord of the Rings." He went, "Wizards? No, we don't want that."
I think Ken Dodd's dad's dog's died, isn't he?
So I hear.
What?
He meant to say Diddy, and I said, "No, Doddy."
Oh, Diddy! Oh, Doddy!
I see.
I never knew there was. I didn't know there was a continuity of that joke. I didn't know. That's
written on the wall in White Hart Lane.
Wow! I thought the tongue twister was enough. Wow, that's expanded.
I mean, you learn something with every episode of this show. It may not be
that is
useful.
that was written on a wall near to Tottenham's old ground. That's how I knew it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bloody hell! I can't believe you know that much about football, Tony.
I'm a big fan. I don't know anything about football. So it does sound like you've got quite a quotient of comic people already as well, Andy. You know, you are pushing it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, definitely at the moment we've got Lee Bradley's coming. We're doing his workshop. We've got Mark Bennington, who's another local artist who I did actually. You see, this is you weirdly stumble across people. I didn't know of Mark, but he lives in Grimsby, which isn't that far away.
Yeah.
And he popped up in my news feed on my phone last year, an article from the Grimsby Chronicle or whatever, local artist, excited to be a new book. And I looked at Matt Bennington. I looked him up, and he used to draw for Buster, and he did some work with the Dandy. Anyway, he's freelance now, and he's writing some books, and he'll be coming, which I'm really excited about.
That's awesome. Nice.
The book that he's in, a Monster Fun book. It was one of the Treasury of British Comic ones that came out last year. The Rebellion.
Yeah, like when they've redone a comic from the 70s and 80s,
I've got the website in front of me, but I don't. I'll tell you, I will do it because I've got it on. Yeah, Treasury of British. It's Tom Peterson. Tom Patterson.
Oh, okay.
Who did Sweeney Toddler and.
Right. Okay.
So
nice.
So Matt Bennington's in it because I think he was a stunt artist or something for him at some point. I think he worked alongside him and maybe.
Artist.
So anyway, that's how I came across him, and so he's for me. We've got Abby does our workshop. She's just a very gifted teacher of artwork. She's great.
Right.
Small press so far. We've got Ian Ashcroft and Luke Aldridge have been in touch.
Yeah, good stuff.
But it's early days.
Did you say Gareth Slighthome? Is he
Gareth isn't coming to Brid because he's already doing something.
He's too busy. He's superstar.
He's very busy.
Yeah,
too important.
He will be at Hull, and I am meeting with him soon because he's going to be heavily involved with the curating and the small press areas and the gallery area that he came up with that himself and asked if we could do it. So he's good. Very involved.
He's a good lad, isn't he?
Yeah.
I have to say, if I come along, I do have on my rider that I'm not to sit next to or do any panels with Hannah Spirit. Can I just point that out?
I think her price might have gone up out of our range now. She does things in Hello magazine. We've got no chance. No.
Well, if you got nearer, Tony, you'll be breaking that court injunction. So
yeah,
that's true.
Just be careful.
Yeah, I could Spider-Man her.
She was one of the nicest guests we've ever had. It's got to be said. She went out of her way for people.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tony won't.
Stuff. No, I'll keep moving. I won't keep moving.
Very good. I tried to get her to do a dance. I said, can we do an S Club dance step? So she just put her arm in the air and just said, reach. So I put my arm in the air. Someone snapped a quick shot, up on Instagram, me dancing with Hannah from S Club.
Hang on, what? All you did was put your hand up.
That counts.
Yeah,
at the same time.
It was static shot. The rest of the world don't know, do they?
That's true. Yeah, you can get away with anything if it's a photograph.
Probably animate it. Well,
deep fake.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hardly like the most unbelievable story, is it?
No. So, are you a comics fan yourself, Andy? Are you reading much at the moment, and what are you enjoying and stuff like that?
Not as much as I wish I had time for or could do. I do listen to your recommends quite a lot.
Cool. Thank you.
I did enjoy the Horror Chronicles.
Oh, thank you, man.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
No one likes a brown noser, Andy. No one likes.
Sorry.
Listen, I get one reader. Just leave it.
One of my absolute favourites that I got through listening to you lot, and I know you like this one as well, was Rufus Marigold.
Oh, yeah, we love that.
That's a good
Yeah,
one.
that was really good fun. I also subscribed to the members area of Jenny
Gilbad's
Gilbad's website.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Is that a members area or is it called something else?
Well, the Patreon thing.
Yeah.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got her own version of it. No, she runs a different version.
Oh,
She's got one on her own website. Yeah.
I thought she was
Yeah.
OF.
She's what?
I thought she had an OF account.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, she does for like her artwork as well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, she's hustling, making that paper.
I mean, that
Shucking and a jiving.
Yeah.
I've listened to that multiple times. It just cheers me up so much. So some of the other things, I'm a big fan of, sort of like, I'm a big Beano fan, and that kind of comic was what I used to read as a kid, and I'm also into the new publications of Monster Fun.
Cool.
They're out as well, so I will look at those.
Have you ever tried to get anyone from Viz along? That's always an interesting area.
That would be great. It would be fantastic, wouldn't it? I do still buy Viz. There was an absolutely brilliant strip in it a couple of months ago, which it was just too good. It was Avida saying Pet Detectives, where the Geordie Brickies went around Germany to try and solve a case of dogs being stolen.
That's fantastic.
But they captured an entire character with just one sentence. Like Neville would just keep saying, "Oh, Brenda wouldn't like this." Absolutely brilliant.
Seminal series.
Yeah.
One of them was in that band, the Flying Pickets. Do you remember that? He was in that band as well, wasn't he? One of those actors.
Now, I'll tell you what, if you Google the Flying Pickets and look at their Wikipedia page, you think they've had about 40 or 50 members.
Oh, right.
It's sort of like, it's almost become like a rotating I don't know what you'd call it. It's almost like it's one out, one in. I don't think there's any original members in it.
Here's a question for you all. What cast member of Alvida's Own Pet, he was in the main group of the Builders, appeared in both a Marvel and a DC film?
Oh, I know.
Timothy Spall? No.
It was Moxie. Christopher Fairbanksy.
He was in Guardians, wasn't he?
He was in Batman, wasn't he? As he gets dangled off. He was Guardians of the Galaxy, is quite a posh antique shop type guy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Of course. He was quite well spoken, but he was very gruff in Batman. He was in Tim Burton's, wasn't he?
I think he's in The Fifth Element as well. I think I remember.
He turns up in lots of things, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's the one where Batman says, "I want you to tell all your friends about me."
Who are you?
Ooh, yeah. Who are you? Yeah. Does that weird, like the really high pitched. Who are you? Yeah.
Good.
Legend.
Nice.
Which means, because again, I think you might have discussed this not so long back, how well done the Tim Burton's Batman comic tie-in was. Because
I love that.
Didn't Jack Nicholson have to tick off every picture of him?
Cool.
He had to make a really good job of it. Now I wonder if Moxie from Avida Saying Pet, I wonder how he looks in that.
He halted the publication of it. He said, "I'm not having it."
Just generic, because then as well, you could have quite a good gallery. He's been in Viz and he's been in Batman as well. So I'm starting to think he might be a good guest. I'll just write that down.
You can do on those jam pieces, can't you? You get different artists to draw different members of the Avengers. You could have just different versions of him in.
I tell you what, that's the one we need to do a group artwork of. Alfie's Own Pet. Get everyone.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Nobody remembered it though. They all have to Google it.
It was huge when I was a kid.
Yeah,
it was an enormous show. And it gave us Jimmy Nail.
It did. Any versions of it that are on TV now are very heavily edited to the point where they make absolutely no sense at all because they've had to edit so much language out or attitudes of the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's all gone. So
Timothy Spall doesn't mention it in his art house movie career that he's got now. You know. Yeah.
I used to really like Jimmy now and that playing Oz. There's that one, when they're doing out the manor house and he's like eating the pickles and then he starts drinking like the vinegar juice.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
That's how I thought everyone up north was like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a good character template for what you'd find north of the
And
water.
boys from the black stuff.
Nothing like sweeping generalisations, is
No, but I did have vinegar on my Cocoa Pops this morning, so you know.
Right. I mean, I know you're joking. That sounds like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
That's hideous.
I remember a mate of mine toured with Chaz and Dave once, and he said he had vodka on his cornflakes every morning. So that's quite cool.
Oh,
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, imagine crunching
Just
up
have
cornflakes. So king of cornflakes.
just have the vodka.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could do, couldn't you?
Just cut out the
that.
middle, man. Don't have the crunching nut.
So
Yeah.
something I was interested in mentioning when I was thinking about, coming on after this kind invite was, I believe, I see the thing, was it last episode you might, or one before, you might have mentioned seeing some Wurzel Gummidge artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking that, when quite a few people come on the show and will say, well, yeah, I started with out reading the Beano and progressed on to 2000 AD and then on to Dark Knight. It's sort of like a little journey. And I was actually going back in my head, and my journey started before the Beano. The first comic I used to get was called Pippin.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And I used to get it in the 80s, and it was a TV tie-in comic, like for whatever CBeebies was at the time. So you'd have like Mary Mungo and Midge in it, and Morph and various things. And then it was like things like TV comic with Wurzel Gummidge in it, and even sort of like when I went through a bit of a pop music phase, and you got looking, you'd have the Bucks Fizz comic strip.
Oh yeah,
It's
they have all that,
strange
wouldn't they? Yeah, they have on the buses comics, all sorts of things. Mind your
Yeah.
language. Yeah.
So it's sort of strange that it's sort of this like popular culture thread that you get at Comic Cons has always sort of existed.
Yeah, and I
in comics, hasn't it?
I think those TV sort of licensing comics. I think when we talk about people's gateway into comics, whether like Spider-Man or whatever, there's an awful lot of people that started with, like you say, a TV tie-in.
Oh, I've got $6 Million Man page framed on my office wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. Fall Guy comics. There's Magnum comics, all this sort of thing. 18, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back then, people who made comics. Back then, people who made comics were looking to sell them.
Yeah.
So they put popular things in them. That's the sort of thing maybe they're missing these days. Yeah.
God, didn't take long to tell you to you.
Yeah, but I think a lot of comics aimed at that age group now aren't like. I know this is a really easy thing to say, but they're definitely not like they were then. Now it's a pamphlet sellotape to a free gift, isn't it?
Yeah.
Throw that bit away.
Even Russ's drawings were brilliant in the Doctor Who adventures, and they got Andrew Cartmel in to write them, who was the script editor in the 80s. And it was like maybe 4 pages of the comic, and then there'd be another 8 pages which would be fact files or puzzles, and that's sort of it. And if I used to get Scream. That was one of my favourite comics.
Oh, I love that.
And to read that, you had to put a lot of graft in to read that. It was quite hard going. There was very different stories, and it kept you going for a long time. I think that's missing now.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. I bet even Please Sarah Looking went quite in depth.
Yeah, it'd take you a few minutes to read a page. Kids ain't got the patience for it now, have they? They're just off trying to buy heroin or look at porn or something.
Is that the 2 choices, is it, Tony?
Yeah, it's kids these days. That's all they've got. And kids on telly, they go, "Oh, we needed this playground because we were so bored. We got nothing to do." Fucking hell. Read Looking.
Yeah.
Look and learn.
Over and over and over again till the next one turns up.
Yeah, that's what we did. Yeah, in the back of a car on a 5-hour journey. Here's a comic, which I read 800 times. Yeah.
Jesus. God.
I used to be just like that. I'd read the magazine over and over and over, and say, "Have you done the crossword?" No, never doing that.
Yeah, I'm never doing that.
I'd keep reading the comic.
Why didn't you try and copy some of the drawings in it?
I thought once I came up with a great way of solving the maze on the puzzle page, and I'd say I remember telling them I've come up with a great way of I've got this. I know how to solve the maze really quickly. You do it backwards. I thought from going from the finish to the beginning was sort of like, look at me, I've come up with a great idea. It's just, you're still doing a maze, aren't you?
Yeah.
It doesn't really work.
Within the maze.
So you were saying earlier, before we started recording, that you've done a bit of radio to promote the show. Is that something you do regularly, is it, Andy?
Yeah, they really support us, the local radio station. We've tried, sometimes the local paper's not really a local paper anymore. I think it's run by the company that run every local paper.
Yeah.
Because if you go on their websites, they're telling the same stories. But sometimes we get in that. But the local radio absolutely love it. I mean, they bang through a lot of items in their shows. I tend to be on twice per Comic Con with them. We always do a pre-record.
Right.
Which it'll either just be me or we might get, so like I've been in with Gareth before to talk about the artwork side of it and the comic book side of it, and we might have one of the cosplayers come as well and we'll talk about that side of it. So sometimes we do it like that, and then they also normally like to do a live call when you're setting up.
Okay.
So yeah, but they really support us.
Yeah,
they love it, and they like to chat about it. I mean, a lot of people they do want to know exactly what a Comic Con is. I've not heard this word. What is this? And, it's like mystic.
What is this?
Yeah. And then lots of sort of people just piggyback onto it. We have Cineworld, the cinema people have they've, for a little promotional stand, they'll dish out prizes for the competitions and things, and it's cinema passes and things, which is great. We have a lot of charities reach out to us and say, "Oh, we're doing this. Can we have is it possible to come to your event?" And yeah, come and have a stand, and that's it. It's sort of like another link to promotion as well.
Yeah,
they bring something to us and we bring something to them. And they
you were saying you have
into it.
Sorry, mate. You were saying you have a charity raffle as well. Who's that for? Have you got a particular?
Well, I mean, it varies. I mean, we have a number of charities. So one of the best things that's happened in recent years, we have a sort of like a professional group of Star Wars cosplayers who go around the country. They're in actual screen standard kit called the Sentinel Squad, and they will tend to have a charity for the whole year that they'll raise a vast amount of money for, just going up and down the country. Well, as of last year and moving forward at Brid, they've decided that's going to be their event for presenting at, which it's a great spectacle to get all these stormtroopers and people on stage and stuff. So they will raise money for one specific thing. It's normally a children's group or a nursery, something like that. We have got a girl who had back surgery when she was very little, and she basically has just been building up a huge collection of Lego over the last few years and puts on a massive display. So we get a Lego display, and they get people, donating to them as well, which is great.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
I also invited, and we have now attend look, I'm going to sound awful now because I'm wearing a t-shirt now and I can't look upside down. The Sophie Lancaster charity. She's the goth girl who was sadly killed in a an attack a few years ago. They based the whole Coronation Street storyline on it last year.
Oh wow! Okay.
Well, we have a lot of the people who cosplay. That's their way of communicating and socializing, and they've got their own anxieties and things. It's a really good charity for them to go and talk to and speak to, because it's about protecting minority groups of people.
Okay.
Yeah, save the goth kind of thing.
Okay.
That's a real throwaway line to actually say something that they're a charity who are really close to my heart, so we're glad that they can come. So yeah, loads of people. We have a Dalek who goes around with a Children in Need collection on his plunger.
On his what?
His plunger. How's this for name dropping? Right? I was talking to one of our Daleks the other day, because we have a number of Daleks who come. So I was just sort of heading.
I mean, the fact that we're just letting that go says a lot. But yeah, go on.
So I was talking to Dalek 20, and he was one of the Daleks in the Jubilee parade today.
Oh, I watched that today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Dalek, he was the Dalek with blue balls who kept drifting awkwardly. He's
cold?
It must have been. They were brown when it started. So he's
at least he's got somewhere to go if he needs to. It gets caught short.
He's from York, and I thought that's great, by royal appointment.
Cool, isn't it? Yeah.
I did say it's ironic, isn't it, that you've got 4 members of the most evil, destructive race in the universe are allowed to parade in front of the Queen, but Prince Andrew has to stay in his bedroom on his own.
Yeah, but apparently he's got COVID. That's not made up.
Oh yeah,
at all. Yeah.
It's political COVID.
Yeah. Lucky COVID. Yeah.
So where can people go to find out more about the show, or to get in touch with you about like the day itself, etc.?
Lots of places. So if you're interested in coming and doing a small press table, and that's any it's if you're a publisher with a number of people collaborating with you, if you're an individual, whatever, it'd be great to have you. If you're interested in that, you could go on the Slack, the Awesome Comics Slack, and you'll find me in the events section as a post up about it with how to contact me. Same on the Awesome Comics Facebook page as well. You can find a link on how to get hold of me. So that's if you're interested in doing that aspect of it.
You've got your own Facebook page as well.
So if you want to find us, we're District 14 events.
Cool.
So you'll find us on Facebook. The Bridge event is live. That's on Facebook as well, so you can contact us through that if you want to. And yeah, there you go. It's easy to get hold of us. District 14 events, you'll find us.
Nice.
But yeah, the minute you get in touch with us, that's great. You're part of the family, and we'll get the promotional stuff out there. We'll let everyone know everything about you. And I really want to fill the place with comics, because they bring such a smile. Everything we do makes people smile, and I know how much comics make me smile. Whether it's whether it's a zine or it's a collected title, whatever. To let people see that would be great. And also get some pennies in your pocket.
Yeah.
Brid might be far away for some of you. I'm aware of that, but if you, I know there's sort of a tight network of people know each other, so maybe if you can share transport or whatever, maybe you don't need me to tell you this, do you?
Yeah, get a bag of chips, walk down by the sea. You can do it all in Brid, can't you?
Oh, it's great! It's a fantastic place. Yeah.
Cool.
So, and what are the dates? What's the dates we're looking at?
This one's Sunday the 4th of September. This is Bridlington. Fingers crossed that in the next week we'll have a date for the Hull Comic Con, which again we've got a massive venue for that with lots of space to fill. So we'll be doing the same at that one, and that's the one where also we'll be having the gallery space as well for small press.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
good stuff, man.
And as soon as I've got the date for that, it'll be on the Slack group.
Yeah, give us a shout and we'll put it out here.
Yeah. So follow Andy in the event to find out more about all these amazing shows that are coming up. Especially if you love comics and just a good day out, because I think after the past couple of years, that's what everyone wants now, isn't it? Just a nice day out.
I mean, we hear that MCM was really busy, so I'm feeling, and like Lawless was busy, V, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel that we're back again. That's how I feel about it. You know.
Yeah.
Good.
So yes, thank you very much, Andy. Of course, like you said, people come to the shows, they're part of the family, and now you're on this show, you're part of ours. So you say that, but now we want our lifetime's worth of birthday presents that we haven't got from you.
Well,
sort that.
The Slack group's definitely the kind of like the extended family thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Good stuff.
I think. Well, I'll send you the photograph of me dancing with Hannah from S Club.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
Yeah. And see, that's how you get close to our heart. You send us a picture of Sid James's chopper. That's how it all started.
Yeah, Sid James's chopper and S Club 7. That's how you become friends with us.
Well,
Well, there you go, folks.
It was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah, another event to add to your list.
Yeah.
Certainly, we've probably got some creators listening now.
I'm going to that. I'll tell you now. I'm going to go and have a laugh. I'm going to stay the night before, have a few beers, get amongst the people of Bridlington.
Yeah,
meet up with Ashcroft.
Tabling with that new book you sent us.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to go away with that. I'm hoping to travel with that in a couple of weeks if we can get it to the printer in time.
I know me and Vince blew smoke up your bum about that, but I really enjoyed that book.
Oh, thank you, man. It's very kind of you.
It's really good.
Dan's actually we didn't literally do that.
No.
It would have been nice, though.
Figure of speech.
It's a really I've said it before, but you and Adam sort of really found your feet with the.
He's good to work with, man. He is funny. Yeah. He's funny, and all we do is write these stupid things just to make each other laugh. Yeah. That tends to be how it works.
The Fahrenheit 451.
That was his one. That's called him.
Yeah,
that one. Yeah, it's
really
good
like
that one.
Yeah.
For anyone interested, it's called Dirty Basement 1, and it's coming your way in a couple of weeks. Get your eyes open.
Is that Dirty Basement issue 1? Is that what
yes. Yeah, Dirty Basement issue 1. Yeah, because Dirty Basement is allegedly where our offices are.
Yeah, allegedly or truthfully, you decide. But yeah, I mean, do you have a schedule for when you're going to release things? Or is it
we just tend to
rough and ready as and when, and get them ready for shows you're at and stuff like that?
Well, long story short, I was doing Hidden Lives which was going to be the tribute book we were going to release at TCAF and Heroes in a couple of weeks, and it was looking like it was running a little late, so we weren't sure we were going to make it. Turns out we are going to make it, and it's arriving hopefully with me tomorrow. So Adam says, well, why don't we do our own one? So I had a couple of stories in the bag with him. I wrote a couple of things. He had a couple of things ready, so we just put it as a little anthology, and it gives you a taste of what tribute's about. That one, it's much more. While Hidden Lives is kind of introspective and personal and stuff, Tribute Press is just mental. The Dirty Basement one is just mental. So. I mean, hopefully people will see both sides of us now.
I'd like to think me repeatedly posting that GIF from Miracle on 34th Street of Chris Kringle with that massive whip helped get it over the line.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yeah, that's the one. Oh, it was. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, everyone, we got it together in the end. It was all right. So Hidden Lives hopefully arrives tomorrow, and we're hoping to have Dirty Basement ready for sale and for the conventions in Canada and America in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, cool. I mean the launch. You're sticking to the launch at TCAF, aren't you? And then is it going to be one of those?
Yeah, I mean, it will be at TCAF, but the main launch will be at Heroes because that's where we've got our own table. So at TCAF, I'm on the No Brow table and Adam is on the Strangers table. So we will have a couple for sale there, and you'll be able to get it there. But it'll be sort of proper launch, signing it, drawing in it a bit, that sort of thing. Will be at Heroes in North Carolina. There you go. If we make it there, let's see how we get on. Mr. Cumber's going to be there. It's just going to be a fight and craziness for a weekend. But we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a laugh. Yeah.
And speaking of a laugh, Bridlington Comic Con does look like a laugh as well. And thanks again to Andy for joining us to talk about that, comics, Wars of Gummidge, and everything else in between.
He was good, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yes.
That's how you get our attention. Send us pictures.
Of
and be a listener.
Sid James and his chopper, which was a bicycle. Just to let you know,
he's got a pipe on, hasn't he? When he's in that photo,
he's always got a pipe. Hasn't
he?
Yeah.
On the pipe means something else then.
Yeah. Do we have any shout outs this week, gents?
I do. So congratulations to 11 O'Clock Comics, who are our friends, and instrumental in the starting of this podcast in a way. And they are celebrating their 800th episode this week. So well done, guys. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Any great. Yeah, and I've listened to them from the start, and good dudes, and hopefully I'm going to meet them when I'm in the States in a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. Another one, our buddy Eamon is running a 2000 AD themed raffle in aid of cancer research and the Calm charity. The prizes are an absolute testament to Eamon's convention perseverance in getting books signed and art prints. And the first prize in this is a hardback collection of America, signed by pretty much every single 2000 AD creator you can think of. If you go to justgiving.com and look for fundraising Mega City Book Club, that's easy to find, isn't it? Justgiving.com /fundraising Mega City Book Club, or find it on a number of our socials. I've certainly reposted it. We've reposted it from the Slack, etc., and you'll be able to get in the raffle by going to the Just Giving page. He also has an eBay account, which we'll also link to, and you can go there and bid on stuff. Everyone I've bid on so far, I've just been trounced immediately. I think, I'm winning this one, and then someone puts another 20 quid in or something. But there's the stuff on there, just brilliant stuff. Yeah, they're my ones.
Nice. Dan?
I don't have anything at the moment. I'd recommend checking out Shane Chebney's the new guest lineup he's got for his next convention, because
it's the Salisbury one.
Yes, it seems to be kind of like he only started off with 3, but they're getting more and more added as the weeks trot on, and it seems to be quite an impressive.
Salisbury, is that Salisbury or Shrewsbury?
Shrewsbury, sorry. Yeah, Shrewsbury. Yeah, bad.
But I say Salisbury's more in my old stomping ground.
Okay. And we've got a new comic from Dave Cook, got Ninja Baseball Spirits, the official reboot of the 90s arcade fighting game Ninja Baseball Batman. 4 ninjas fight to save baseball from the forces of evil, and that's on Kickstarter now. That's absolutely going great guns. So check that one out.
Nice. So without further ado, let's send you off into the week with a few recommendations. Tony, as always, I think you've got a couple, haven't you?
Yeah, so my first one is 1956, book 1, Sweet, Sweet Little Romona. It's by Stephen Lafler, and it's 54 pages, black and white. It's Amazon print on demand by a company called Cathead Comics, who are a US-based company. I've not done much print on demand. I don't know about you guys, but this is an American creator who's got sort of an underground background, I suppose. And it came the next day from Amazon. Have you done the Amazon print on demand? They do seem to turn it around quickly.
No.
It's a big thing, certainly with the pros, and certainly Space Warp.
And I think Pat's novels are like that as well.
Yeah.
I've
got a couple of like novelist friends who.
To be fair, maybe I did think, because I've got some of Pat's novels through Amazon, so that might have well been of them.
Yeah, I was impressed, because otherwise he's actually not an easy creator to get hold of for the stuff that isn't print on demand. I also bought a book called Bug House, which is also a sort of jazz related thing, which I'll talk about in a minute. But Steve is quite a powerhouse of old school American underground comics and small press comics. It gave me an absolute nostalgia trip by reading it. I just bought it on a complete impulse. I'd heard of him, but not really read much by him. And I thought I'll buy this on an impulse, and it really gave me that 80s and 90s vibe of stuff like 8 Ball, Hate by Peter Bagg, if anyone ever read that, Minimal Wage, the stuff by Tom and A. And there's also a little bit of the Hernandez brothers in this, well, quite a big chunk actually. It's in that sort of groove. It would be in that little the aisle of the convention where those guys would be. You would see, for example, this book 1956. It's a work of fiction. It's partially inspired by Lafler's father, who was a buyer for one of those large New York department stores. It's absolutely solidly drawn, solidly written, and it's an ensemble piece. It's a story that I kind of like this sort of thing. It travels through the night with a group of people. Lafler's art is solid, and you can tell everyone. There's a cartooning style to his work, very readable. Everyone is distinct, which I think is often the greatest thing when you've got like a load of blokes all in suits, for example. You need to be able to tell who they are, and they're all different shapes and attitudes and characters. It's set in the 50s in sort of jazz clubs. We even get an appearance of Miles Davis and John Coltrane in it. Warnings to a casual reader who might just pick this up thinking it's sort of, PG-13 or whatever it is. It's got a lot of sex in it and a lot of class A's in it as well. Romona is the title of the book, but in fact, Romona is Ramon for part of it. Ramon, it's in a kind of walking on the wild side thing. At night, he becomes Ramona, the darling of the club scene, and she's like a hostess in a jazz club. She's the one who sits next to the dudes, and they all buy drinks, and they get on the then she goes to another club with them, and she knows all the nightlife. And it's a book purely based in the mood and the vibe of the 50s jazz scene, and there's fights and arguments and sex in the ladies' toilets and lots of booze and lots of drugs, and it's chock full of absolutely brilliant atmosphere. And it came out, I think, at the start of last year. It's like zero fanfare. I didn't see it mentioned anywhere. I mean, have you heard of this book, guys?
No, I've heard of this one. No.
And it's just a really great read. It's a sort of it really draws you in. Everyone's a person. No one's great, good, and no one's bad. I suppose if I was going to have to pitch it to someone who wasn't sort of a big comics fan, I'd probably say something like, "There's a little bit of the Mad Men about it."
Okay.
Sort of Mad Men, the TV series, crossed with Love and Rockets, just with loads of personality. I'm hooked on this stuff now. I've been reading the Bughouse book today, which is a bit more sort of anthropomorphic, but it's also that jazz scene, characters, mood, vibes. Everyone's in those sort of cool suits playing sax, and someone's at the piano playing a jazz tune. Yeah, really good. So look for it. I think the sequel's just about to come out for the second one. So this is book one called 1956 Sweet Little Ramona. And I think the sequel is called 1956 Movie Star. I think that's the name of it. So have a look at it. And like I say, print on demand. I was really surprised. Well, I've not heard of this. This will take weeks to arrive. It's one of those, but it arrived the next day. So pretty cool.
Awesome.
Oh, fantastic.
That's my first one.
Awesome. Dan?
I've got The Ghost in You, a Reckless book by Andrew Baker and Sean Phillips. I've bought this off of Eamon. He was selling it in one of the pound shop things. And, fuck it, I'll give this a go. It's the fourth book in the Reckless series. It's set in winter 1989, and the comic focuses on Anna, who's like a side character. So obviously this is the first one I've read, so I don't know.
She's kind of the sidekick in the first few books.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
But there's more to her than that. That's Romford saying. She's not, even because they're kind of modern noir, aren't they? Or they're sort of, she's kind of like the receptionist, the girl who works for him kind of thing, but there's more to it than that.
She's kind of like a side character. The main character pops up in this briefly, but essentially this is her case, and it kind of like an old screen queen like Elvira pops up and asks for her help about like the new mansion she's bought in Los Angeles is where it's set, and the Anna character has to look into it, and then you get a slice of her backstory and stuff. And like you said there, there's the real noir feeling. It feels, if you've ever watched the TV series Bosch, there's a feeling like that, of kind of like the kind of detective series set in LA.
It reminded me of the Rockford Files.
Yeah, that. Yeah, it's really great in like, it's those detective stories where it doesn't go from A to B to C to D. You know what I mean? It jumps, because real life, what she's tried to imitate, is not that simple. You don't just find a clue which leads you to the bad guy. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of so many more trials and tribulations come along, and stuff that you didn't see kind of blindsides you. And it's got that kind of noir pulpy feel. The writing and the art, I've really enjoyed both. It's great. Like, it absolutely does what it sets out to do. I can't wait to get another one. I think I'll jump back to the start and get, is it just Reckless, the first one?
No, they've got second names, haven't they? I can't quite see them from where I'm sitting, but I've got that one. I haven't read it yet, but I've read the first three, and they're well worth it, man. I mean, they're all Eisner nominated. Brubaker and Phillips are the hotness, and I think Jacob Phillips, who's Sean's son, is the colorist on it as well, isn't he?
Yes. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. And covered by Sean Phillips, artist Jacob Phillips and Sean Phillips. So they're working together on the interior books. What a great thing to do. Yeah, that's brilliant. And the covers just fucking amazing. They're like those old pulpy novels that you show off all the time, T.
Yeah,
you know, lovely stuff. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'd recommend, if that kind of stuff appeals to you, you'll really enjoy this.
Yeah, I remember chatting to him about it because he was at that convention I went to in LA, and I was saying, "Oh, how was it? You know, did you enjoy it?" And he said, brilliant. He said I was taking loads of photographs of what it was like there, and because he uses a lot of the California look of the streets and stuff in those books as well, I think.
Yeah, you couldn't. I don't think you could do this without having that kind of. It just wouldn't sell it if it was generic. Yeah. It feels like it's set in the place that it's set. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It feels like when you're reading it, it's like this is at Los Angeles. No kind of just here's generic American street. Yeah. I mean, it feels like Los Angeles. I've never been, but it's like one of those places you've seen so many times through various bits of media that you kind of identify it, as it were. And
definitely. Yeah, I mean, they're the ones I've got the money on. I've got the fight. I'm looking to win the $5 on them winning this year. Do you remember?
What did we put?
I did Brubaker. Who did Ram V? Someone did Ram V. Yeah.
I did Ram V.
Right.
And I did third person.
Third person. I mean, why don't we all put the money on that one?
So I'm gonna might get fucked on that. Well, they got nominated, so. Vincenzo.
My pick is one I picked up at Lawless. It's the new issue. Well, it's issue 7 of Shaman Kane,
cool.
From David Broughton. There's 8 issues so far he's released for Shaman Kane, but I picked up issue 7 because I hadn't had that one yet, and it's a nice sort of one and done kind of story. Before we starts a new arc. Shaman Kane. What I like about this as well is it says on the inside cover X Shaman Kane. Shaman Kane is a fun, proper indie small press character. Like front and center in the way that like the classic characters. I mean, Dave's obviously wears his influences on his sleeve, like this is like a 2000 AD sort of character, front and center, and it's got that sort of fun and energy of the classic sort of 2000 AD sort of strips. But Shaman Kane was it's a sci-fi futuristic one about who was a shaman. As it says here, it says on the Who's Who on the inside cover, which is quite nice. Shaman Kane was originally an orphan from the planet Gefion, who was saved by a shaman during the zombie war, now a trained licensed occult operative and supernatural entity termination specialist. There's a mouthful. But it says X Shaman Kane because, as it says on the blurb for book 7, banished from the Shaman Order, Kane decides to start a new life at the frontier worlds of the Galactic Rim. During the long journey, Annie, Kane's ship AI, asks Kane to tell her about the Arcadia incident. And that's what this issue is. This issue is a nice one and done story called the Arcadia incident, which, if you can imagine, 2000 AD sensibilities with a little bit of Die Hard, a little bit of there's some zombie movie in there as well, a little bit. I don't know, there's lots of different influences in this in a sense, but it's all in the name of just fantastic fun science fiction action storytelling and an adventure, and it rolls along at a hell of a pace. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I say, this is even though it's issue 7, I think it's a great sort of introduction for a lot of people to jump on board as well, get a taste, and then if they like it, they can go back and buy more, which is something I think that, especially with indie characters, is useful to have, because sometimes when you get to like a 5, 6, 7, there's so much sort of back matter, and sometimes you can get lost in the weeds of your own story. And I mean, we complain about it with the big two all the time, that sometimes you pick up an issue and it's like, I don't know, I don't know what's going on, who people are. That, sometimes you just need a palate cleanser, just something fresh and fun, to get people. This this did the job. It made me want to read some more Shaman Kane. I need to dig out my other issues of Shaman Kane. And story wise, it's got, like I say, a little bit of Die Hard. There's these space pirates that sort of attack the ship, but rather than just being space pirates, they're run by 2 zombie lords, and the Shaman Order have been hunting them. One of them's Gore Nasty, and his brother Flesh Tasty.
very 2000 AD names, aren't they? Very Wagner Grant,
yeah. And they bring Gore Nasty. They bring some prisoners basically onto this ship, and of course they break out, and then more chaos ensues. And you also have Shaman's not sidekick, but Shaman Jane Rain is there as well. Who was a character that I forgot what issue she was brought into it. Can you remember, Tony? How many issues? I think issue
early
two.
on, yeah.
Early on, yeah. So it's just a rollicking great adventure. I mean, Dave's going from strength to strength with every issue. We mentioned sort of, I think it was last week.
We talked about him post-Lawless, didn't we?
Post-Lawless, yeah. That, he'll have like 12 issues done before we know it. Definitely go to comicsy.co.uk, D Broughton. You can follow him on Instagram, Dave Bus 1966. There's a couple of things that I would maybe say. I thoroughly enjoyed this, but and it is it's a proper read as well. Even though I say I sort of buzzed through it, it's still a read. Do you know what I mean? There's still plenty of stuff to read. And some of the narration boxes are sort of like black and white. And of course, like the speech bubbles and stuff are black and white. So sometimes that's quite maybe they could be something just a little different to
like old school Marvel where they put a yellow.
Yeah, maybe something around the narration box just to lift it from the white of the speech bubbles.
Gotcha.
But other than that, and I mean, certainly, I don't know, Dave's thought about this. For instance, like when the ship AI is talking, they have like sort of square speech bubbles, whereas the sort of more human figures have the normal sort of speech bubbles.
Yeah.
But it's just, and I only sort of really noticed it, like in the first like couple of pages, there's a lot of speech bubbles and narration bubbles going on at the same time. So maybe exactly like you say, Tony, maybe like just a very faint sort of like
tint on it or something. It's quite a common thing, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. Which you could easily do, because this is another thing I love about it. It's a lovely full colour book, and Dave doesn't scrimp on. He's proper. He's a one man.
Nice American comic size, aren't they? That's what I like about them. Yeah, they sit quite happily in my long boxes. Those books, yeah.
It's gonna be a great little collection, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd love to see the collection of it. I really would.
Yeah, but yeah, Shaman Kane, definitely check it out. If there's a character, I mean, I love sort of small press and indie characters anyway, and it's definitely one to if we were doing another poster of lots of different indie characters, Shaman Kane
would definitely be on there.
I was thinking about that today because I sent you that silly picture of us at London Super Comic Con, and on the table in front of it was that poster, wasn't it, that we were selling? Do you remember?
Yeah. It's one of those interesting things. Maybe we have to revisit. Speaking of this, maybe it's a topic that where are the tentpole characters in the indie scene now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was, what was that, 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
Yeah, that was 5 years ago. And certainly a lot of the indie scene hasn't necessarily gone that way. It's
moved on, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's moved on. So
it's changed, isn't it? It's more kind of like the high concept.
Yeah.
The Netflix pitch style kind of comic.
Yeah.
We got Atomic Kirk.
No, thank you, mate.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. But
Cockbiter, he's a good character.
Yeah. Skullfucker. Anyway, all the classics.
We do like Skullfucker, though. That's the thing. It's one of our favourites.
Yeah. That will forever affect your CV. Tony, you got one more?
Yes, I got one more, although it is 450 pages. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about it all.
Your notes? Jesus.
Yeah, my notes are, yeah. Wizard, the comic magazine. And it's Wizerd, and it's issue 2, and it's produced by Cosmic Lion Comics, who are a US-based company. Well, not company, group of friends, I think, from the sound of things. It's covered by Matthew Allison. I know we're fans of Matthew Allison's work. I think you first mentioned him, Vince. I think, what was that book he did?
Didn't I see this somewhere, T? And I sent you the link for this.
You might have done, actually.
Yeah. I can't remember where I saw it, and I was like, I can't remember
where I got it from. Yeah, that's right, because we're talking about it being like kind of a Wizard ARD homage, which it is. I caught it on the pre-order. I think down to you, D. And because I pre-ordered it, it's a bit like going into a Kickstarter. I didn't realise, but I was looking at it today. I said, "Oh, there's my name," because it did take a while And at the time, I thought, it's taken a while. Then I realised why, because it's 450 pages. It's produced at least partly by the cartoonist Kayfabe fan community, which is the YouTube channel that we listen to, and it had an open submission on it. And I think in the notes page, the dude who's organising it says he put them all in there, which when you first hear, you think, there's going to be some dodgy stuff in there. And there's a couple of weaker stories, but nearly all of them are pretty good. I'd say I was quite impressed with the quality of it. It's also, in a part way, an homage to the Wizard magazine we loved from the 90s and then kind of went to shit, didn't it? It's got some callbacks to that as well. There's like a price guide, a couple of price guide sections, which look like the pages you used to get in this and Comics International that used to show you the price of back issues, you know?
Yeah.
Titles.
Just big lists.
Yeah, which we used to pore over, didn't we?
Yeah.
You think, if only I lived in America, I could buy a copy of Moon Knight 1 for, you know. And but this one, what it does, a couple of the pages, they compare the prices of hot books then to how much they cost now. And it's interesting to see how some books have severely dropped in value, you know, and this sort of thing, which is quite interesting. There's a checklist for writers. There's one for Alan Moore in there. As usual, come on, people who are Americans and we love, don't ignore the UK publications, because if you're doing a checklist for Alan Moore, he's the person you need to have. The UK publications, you know, Maxwell the Magic Cat and all that sort of thing as well, and Daredevils and 2000 AD. If you're not including 2000 AD in the checklist for Alan Moore, you're missing something, but it also just seems to be American comics. It's absolutely chock full of comics as well. There's one from Slack member Ian M, which I was reading, and it's a great 4-page strip called Touch of the 90s, and it's a story about how a friend of his or a friend of the main characters worked in comics for quite a famous person who worked for Image. I'm going to leave it to you to read it to figure out who it might be, but I think it might rhyme with Rod McFarlane. I think there might be a similar name to that.
Oh, I see. Mark Silvestri.
Gotcha. That's it. Well done. Yeah, Jim Valentino.
Yeah.
And it, also in there, I messaged him actually saying, "Look, I'm reading," and there's an interview with him in there as well, which is quite cool. There are some stories that are previews of other current and future releases. Attaboy, which is by a creator called Tony McMillan, has a real, really cool Jim Marfood cosmic feel to it. I really like that. Another Year by Christian J. Massimo has a real Jamie Hewlett vibe to it, I think. Maybe some early Brendan McCarthy, stuff like that, and would easily suit something like Escape Magazine or Deadline Magazine, that sort of thing. There's something called Capitaire LSD by Matthias Fourier, which is a real cracker, which is a sort of slacker superhero tale, which is absolutely really well polished. But it's absolutely full of strips. There's tons of them in there. I mean, it's 450 pages. It took me pretty much the whole day to read. Also in there, common again as a little homage to Wizard is there's a lot of creator interviews in there. So you've got one with Shaky Kane, which is really good. Rick Veitch is in there. Dan Panosian. William Stout, of all people, believe it or not, is in there. And Brian Talbot's got an interview in there. Well, I'm very interested in Brian Talbot's stuff. Waiting for his new Luther Arkwright book to drop, which Luther Arkwright, the first black and white stories, are all sort of formative story in my comic reading life. I mean, well done to these dudes. It's like Previews magazine. It's that size. You know how thick you get a Previews catalogue in the comic shop? It's that sort of size to it. And literally took me hours to read. So if you find Cosmic Lion Comics with an X on the end, you'll be able to buy. Beware though, it is coming from the States, so it's going to cost you. I mean, people say to me, "How did you get that?" And I said, "Well, I paid a load of money to get it posted to me, basically. Yeah, that's how I got it." But I wanted to support them, and I think it's a worthy book to do. I'd love to be in it. To be fair, I'd love to have something in this sort of thing. There's a lot of really interesting people. We're always trying to find the next hotness in small press, aren't we? And indie and underground. And I think places like this, as well as Strangers Magazine and Bubbles Magazine, that sort of thing. I think this is where you find the new people. Also, if you're a writer or you're an artist, you're going to find people here you might want to collaborate with, as well as some really, really fun content. And the interviews are pretty informative, actually. So there's some real, standout creators in there who they've interviewed. I mean, Talbot, you can learn a lot by Talbot, can you? I was only chatting to a creator who we are posting an interview with in a couple of weeks, who's telling me all about how much they're interested in Talbot's work. So yeah, Wizard, Wizerd, the comic magazine, issue 2. That's my second one. There you go.
Nice.
Nice one.
Wizard magazine itself. Fascinating. Tell you what, you want to listen to the Toy Galaxy YouTube channel who do the rise and fall of Wizard magazine.
Yeah.
Oh, do they? Oh, that's interesting.
Dan Larson, he's the one I retweeted today about the Superman take.
That was him. Oh, okay.
He's like, can we just have a fucking wholesome, good, clean Superman?
Yeah. What I love about those guys as well is it's just well researched, just thought out stuff. They just it's not like here is our opinion. I mean, obviously they put in jokes and like whether they liked it or not, but if they do like a YouTube video about a certain subject, it's informative.
The wizard one's spot on.
It's
good.
fascinating. Yeah, you should check it out too. It's
there's nothing that I hate more than listening to a podcast where the people don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
it just irritates me.
Yeah. That's why I never listen back to us.
No.
I mean, we do the amount of research we did before the Mark Miller one. We actually had to have a fucking meeting.
Yeah.
We do. I love a bit of comics research, and it's all out there. It's all available to us now. It's not as if you've got to go to a comic mart and try and find an old, comics interview magazine or something. It's out there now. You can find it.
I just wish I could read. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and no doubt you've got some more comics to add to your list, some events to put on your radar, and more. And we hope you've enjoyed this start to the week, middle of the week. I don't know when you listen to this show. When do you people listen to this show? I know
found out on a Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday morning. He sits in the garage, Andy was saying, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't think he sits in what? Now he's not here to defend himself. Dan can say whatever he wants. But no, we hope you enjoyed it, and if you want us to talk about other events, or if you've got any sort of charity events or anything coming up you want us to discuss, there's several different ways you can get in touch with us. You can email us awesomecomicspod@gmail.com, follow us on Twitter @theawesomepod, where we'll be retweeting or putting the word out about future shows. If you do Facebook, then go to facebook.com/awesomecomicspodcast and join the community group Awesome Comics Talk, and also join the community Slack group where there's loads of different channels.
You'd be the first person to see the opportunity that Andy spoke about if you're on there.
Well. Yes. There you go. See, there's a reason to do it. And thank you for listening to us, whether it was on the website awesomecomics.podbean.com. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, subscribe and leave a review. And just shout out about this show so that someone else listens. I'm just going to leave that there because I think a nice sad silence just works.
Yeah, encourages guilt people into doing it.
Yeah. And if you heard us on any other networks such as Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, Podnose, Podknife, and there's lots of other networks. I need to add them to the list. But what are the other ones we're on, Tony?
We're on Pod. Bless me, Father. It has been 5.5 days since I last did a wee in the bath.
Well, or you could just say the podcast network lies. That's lies, Tony. You know that's a lie. No. With energy bills, we'll all be doing it soon to keep the water warm. Anyway, where can people find us?
And tangy.
Oh God! Hang on. Are you also saying you drink your bath water?
I sell it on eBay.
Oh, that's right then. That's entrepreneurial.
One girl, Amaranth, who sold her bath water on OnlyFans, and she got a few quid for that.
Yeah,
so.
She got a few quid.
Well, that's downplaying it. She got a lot.
She's the one who looks like an elf or something. Is that the woman?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
People are fucking weird. I mean, I'd check crack in the pavement, but even, you know what I mean?
Hang on. You just said people are fucking weird, and then you just said you'd shag a crack in the pavement.
Including myself.
Oh, yeah. We're all weird, apart from you lovely people out there.
You're mostly weird.
I mean, some of you are weird. You know who you are. As for us, where can people find us online, etc., Tony?
neveronanything.com. Have a listen out for the Never On Anything podcast. We'll be doing a little one for our journey, for our trip to just get everyone ready, and have a listen out for that.
Nice, Dan.
You can find me at vanguardcomic.com. You can read it all there, and you can find my other bits and bobs on my patreon.com/Vanguard Comic. I put my latest the June month, like I draw your characters, and Kieran put June Auckland from The Bill. So that's quite a curveball.
I met her once.
Dan, you've got to sing your sign off every week now.
June Ackland.
That was amazing.
I'll work on it a bit better, a bit more.
Yeah. You can find me on social media at Jester Diablo. And thank you very much for listening, everyone. Stay tuned because we've been talking about what we got for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So we've got some fun stuff coming up, as always. But
already in the bag, some of it.
No matter what we do, it's always going to be about comics.
Yes.
And probably something detrimental to our own
Baths.
personal.
Yeah.
Detrimental to our baths. Stop. I need to talk to you, Tony, about this.
I do love a bath.
We're still rocking out the bath thing.
Do you like baths? Do you have a bath much?
Yeah.
Or?
I hate baths.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm not a big bath fan. I'd say hate is a bit strong.
Yeah, I was about to say that is pretty strong.
Yeah. I don't go around smashing up baths saying I fucking hate baths.
What is it? Do you just don't like being in, like
wallowing in my own shit?
I don't shit in the bath.
Hang on, right? He's weeing in his.
You're shitting in the bath.
You're shitting in yours. Am I the only one who isn't defecating in their bath water? You animals.
You stand up, do it in your hand, and then throw it in.
Chimp it. They call it chimping, don't they? That's how you do it.
God.
Chimping.
Oh my God. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh,
okay.
dear.
Yeah.
How terrible.
Time to sign off.
About.
So thank you for listening, everyone. Hope you managed to get some sleep after that horrific thing that we just talked about. From Dan, Tony, and myself, wherever you are in the world, we love you very much, don't we, Dan?
Hell yeah.
I'm not going to ask Tony.
Please don't ask me. I hate to lie to your face.
But he will if he sees you.
Yeah. Look you in the eye. Look you in the eye and tell you a lie.
But
I'm using that one.
Until we speak again and you have to listen because you downloaded the episode, have a great week, read loads of comics, make loads of comics, and as always, what should these lovely people do, guys?
Stay awesome.
Awesome.
Couldn't say it fairer myself. Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.